Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are on what I think is our final arrow breaking pass. It's this one or the next one, I'm pretty sure. So, with that in mind, the question is, how many did I do off camera? And the answer? I actually don't know. I stopped counting after 12. It was a lot. We've been at this for quite a while. Okay, so I'm not going to be physics warping in the atmosphere because in the previous warps I have noticed that as I physics warp in the atmosphere, we basically always are guaranteed to lose attitude. But if we don't physics warp in the atmosphere, it seems like we don't lose attitude. And if this is indeed the final aerobraking pass, then I would like to not lose attitude. That would be great. Now that said, we can do another aerobraking pass beyond this. That is a possibility. But look at how long we're going to be in the atmosphere for here. 6 minutes. And look how quickly this is coming down. I have a feeling that as we get down to this periapsis of 55 kilometers, things are going to be getting a wee bit better. Oh, technically I needed to put my ore in orbit of Kerbal? Shouldn't that already have been done? Like, we were in orbit of Kerbal. I suppose we were always suborbital? Regardless, I'm delivering it to the surface like the other one, and then I'm going to call that contract good. Because we were in orbit around Kerbal, but technically we were suborbital, I guess, for a little bit there. Regardless, it's even better for the people in question that it's on the surface. So. And technically that's a little bit harder than putting it in orbit. At this point, it's too late. But we're going to manually complete this contract, I guess, because I'm landing it on Kerbal. And I said I was landing it on Kerbal quite a long time ago as well. Okay, so our apoapsis is coming down relatively quickly. As we approach the periapsis, it's getting quicker and quicker. But I'm now starting to think that this might actually be another aerobrake pass. Time to periapsis is still decreasing. If that's the case, then I should start physics warping. Like, losing attitude would actually be good. So I'm going to physics warp here. We lose attitude here. And yeah, we're going to have to do one more pass, it looks like. That's okay. That's not the end of the world. This tumbling is actually good for us. Reason being, we are dropping more speed than we would be if we were just facing pure retrograde, which was why I did that. In fact, I'm turning SAS completely off. We're still about 30 seconds to periapsis. Actually, let's see if we can salvage this. Because we are not coming back. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that and ditch that bit there. Because we are not re-exiting this atmosphere. So that is good. I was actually right. Now I'm going to try to flip us around, but it actually kind of doesn't matter. We can go in prograde or retrograde. So actually, I would rather go in prograde right now than retrograde. Just because it's easier to get to prograde. So we'll just see if we can get over there and stabilize this rock. But ultimately, that doesn't matter either. Like, we have plenty of thermal properties here. We're not going to be overheating. We're basically circularized right now, as you can see. And our periapsis is dropping. So we're going to be coming down, it looks like, over the water, which is absolutely ideal. We're currently going up, but that will not be the case for much longer. We are basically at our peak right now. Our time to apoapsis is going down at faster than 1 second per second. So, that's a thing. And our periapsis is coming down, but we've got lots of space between us and the ground. Lots of atmosphere. I'm hoping that we're going to be landing in this water over here. That would be ideal. Now, these solar panels may burn off. If they do, that's fine. I'm not worried about that. I'm just double checking that these are the drogue chutes. Yep, they are indeed. Fantastic. So we are now continuously... You can see here that we are decelerating even though we are past the apoapsis and falling towards the periapsis. That is a good thing. That is exactly what we want right now. Our periapsis is coming down, but relatively slowly. Like I said in the last episode, honestly, I took this too cautiously. And I probably should have dropped it to 50 kilometers instead of 60 for aerobraking, but I was a little concerned without an ablator, and so that's why I did what I did, but in the future, lesson learned. Now, we need to go ahead and drop a fair amount more speed here. Of course, in order to do that, we need to get a little further in the atmosphere. Our speed is currently still decreasing, but incredibly slowly. But ultimately, this is a good thing. We're bleeding off more speed than this would indicate, because we are currently bringing our periapsis down kind of slowly, but at the same time, faster than we have previously with this particular re-entry trajectory. I'm going to turn SAS off at this point. I'm also thinking about physics warping. It looks like we may actually be landing over here somewhere, which is certainly not ideal. Maybe we'll shoot all the way to here. I'd definitely like to bypass these mountains, and I think we are going to bypass the mountains. Like, realistically, looking at the way this is laid out, I'm pretty sure we're going to be landing somewhere over here, maybe even over here. The periapsis is currently way over here, but we're not getting that far. I can tell you that right now. That is not going to be a thing. I think I'm going to quick save here. And I'm going to try physics warping and see if that breaks everything. Just because this is going to be a kind of slow process. Well, so far it seems okay. We're being held by aerodynamic forces right at the prograde marker. I'm okay with this. We're still in orbit mode. It'll auto-switch to surface mode here pretty soon. You can see our speed is still just barely dropping, but now we're starting to get atmospheric effects. This is where things start to get interesting, but we've got this aerodynamic parachute here that we can lead the charge with, so that's a good thing. And now that we're getting atmospheric effects, I am definitely going to drop off that physics warp. There we go, switching into surface mode. Let's also be in radar altitude mode, so you can see that the terrain here isn't very high up above sea level. That's a good thing. And again, we may lose these solar arrays. I'm okay with that. If we keep them, great. If we don't, oh well. That's okay. We're essentially using them as ablators at this point. Oh boy, that's exciting stuff. So we are currently bleeding off not surface speed, but potential energy is what we are currently doing. Our surface speed is actually going up, but our periapsis is quite low at this point. And it looks like we may actually end up making it all the way to this water over here, which would be amazing. I mean, it's a little on the dark side over here, which is unfortunate. I was hoping to come down on the bright side with one more aerobrake pass, but, and I would have, actually, if I hadn't have physics warped it, but I got greedy, so. It is what it is. Currently 45 kilometers above the terrain, and we are bleeding off quite a lot of speed. So this is excellent. And you can see the terrain is kind of jiggling beneath us as we go over the terrain. It's not technically jiggling, it's just kind of bumpy. But we should be getting into some flatter terrain here very, 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 very soon, in fact. And I think we are probably going to hit this water, is my guess. Which would be absolutely ideal. I don't know about these solar panels surviving, though. That's looking a bit questionable. Maybe they do, but our speed isn't coming down nearly as quickly as I would like. Of course, our altitude isn't really going down either very quickly. So that's a thing. But you can now see that we're below the surface for our periapsis, so we are definitely on a collision course. It's way over there right now, but that's definitely going to change. And yeah, these solar panels, they aren't surviving. There's no way. It's just a question of when are they going to go boom. It's very soon now. I'm just expecting them to blow up. There they go. One of them. And there goes the other. Perfect. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's about time. Uh-oh. Heating effects on the nose cone? We should maybe try to brake a little more aggressively then if we can get out of this aerodynamic position. I'm trying to turn right now. Well, I think ultimately we're going to be okay holding this. It's not filling up very quickly, and our speed will start dropping very, very soon. I'm just going to continue trying to angle us a bit differently to bleed off a little more speed, but aerodynamic forces have us in their clutches right now, so that's fine. We're going to be over water very soon, though, so that's actually completely perfect. It looks to me like we're definitely going to be coming down not over this bay, but over this bay. We've already bypassed that one. Yeah, you can see here we do have a parachute overheating, specifically our nose cone, but it's still quite a ways away from the overheat, and we're starting to decelerate pretty significantly. We're still 30 kilometers up. Our parachute is starting to get some heat applied to it, for sure. But our speed is finally starting to drop at a reasonable rate. Once we hit this portion of the atmosphere here, it's going to come down real fast. And that's the goal at this point. Make it to there. We're still moving at 1.9 kilometers per second, but it's starting to drop very quickly. .8 kilometers per second. Make that 1.7. .6. 1.5. 1.4. We're 13 kilometers above the surface and moving at currently 1.2 kilometers per second. Remember, we need to get to 450 now for drogue chutes. 1 kilometer per second, 8 kilometers above the surface. 800 meters per second. 700. 600. Ooh, this is close. 550. Drogue chutes. Oh. That drogue chute timing is so much tighter now. Wow. Okay, well. That's certainly interesting. That's going to change a lot of trajectories, like impact trajectories back into Kerbin. But anyway, here is our recovery of our moon mining module. And here we come. Excellent. So let's just recover that. And as I said, I'm going to complete the contract because I said earlier that I was bringing it to the surface rather than putting it in orbit, and that was the goal the whole time. So, with that in mind, we did successfully complete this contract here, the one from the moon. Now all we've got left is the Minmus one, and that one is ready to go. However, we'll have to bring that back in the next episode. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time.